Hey everybody, how we doing? Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Getting started here. It's a nice Saturday afternoon here. I got my notes in front of me. I got some things that I wanted to kind of walk through and talk about. And try to not say so many ums and ahs. All right. We'll see. Everything else seems to look pretty good. Hopefully everybody else is having an awesome day. I know I am. So hopefully you don't mind me looking at my notes. If it bothers you, sorry, I apologize now. But I just want to try to make sure I kind of go through things and cover topics today. No guests today. It's just going to be just me, probably this week and next week. Probably next week we will. Hey, Johanna, how are you? Hopefully having a great day up in Canada. Hopefully it's warmer than it has been. So we're cold and dreary. I'll tell you, it's actually sunny and nice today, but it's cold. So got my water. I'm going to take a sip of it every now and then. You'll see me. But yeah, so just kind of go through some stuff today. So it's just me today. Nobody else, just lonely, only old me. But hopefully that's okay. Hopefully it's good and everybody enjoys it. So a couple of things, just wanted to talk topics today. We're going to try to talk a little bit about 5 things that possibly can help you break a stall. And so beautiful weather the last 2 weeks. That's fantastic. So we have been here in Southern California. We had, I think Monday is supposed to be 70 degrees, and it'll be the second time since the first of the year we hit 70 degrees, which is pretty unusual. Usually we have a lot of 70-degree weather. It's low 70s, upper 60s most of the time. This year it's been mostly 50s, some 40s, and some low 60s. So lots of rain for us, which is really unreal. Usually we get about 10 days a year. This year we got a lot. So you're going high. So Johanna's going high protein for a few days a week. It did work. Did it work for me? So when I did, and if you go back and look, and I don't know if I have a chart or not. It worked really well. So, boy, let me. I have a chart that showed the whole time that I did protein sparing, modifying fast, the lean days, and it has just been. It was really good. And I actually thought about doing it again this summer. If what I have is not going to work over this next couple of weeks, I'm thinking about bringing it back again. What I did was I did my lean days on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I did 10 total carbs on those due days. I limited my fat to 30, which was a big shift because, in keto, we're trying to figure out how to get those fats in and how to make sure we're getting our fats in, and then getting our protein equal to our lean body mass. And the best way you can do that is if you go over to Maria Emmerich's, she has a webpage. I think it's Mind and Body or something like that. And she actually has a calculator on there to help you figure out that lean mass. And I just did that and it worked great. If you give me a second, I could probably find the chart for that, but it may take me a few minutes to do that. So maybe I'll try to, as we're talking here, I'll try to look for it because it was pretty, I thought it was pretty successful. So just saying, at least in my mind, it was pretty successful. So I'm not sure if it was. And there I go saying those so's. I got to stop that. But yeah, no, I'll look for it and I'll see if I can find it and I'll kind of give you an idea of how it worked for me. It's something totally different. And I know everybody's talking a lot about the carnivore and ketovore-ish and stuff, but that worked for me. again, I don't know whether it's going to work for anybody else, but it was really pretty amazing stuff for me. So let's see if I can find it. There's a meal plan. There's a calendar that I followed. Do's and don'ts. Food ideas. I don't see the chart in here. Maybe. Let's go back because it would be a while ago. I'll show you the chart that I had. So anyway, while I'm doing that, I just kind of want to make sure I'm welcoming everybody in here. So Johanna's in here. Hey, Ron's here. Hey, Ron, how are you? Hopefully you're having a great day. Hopefully things are good up in Massachusetts. You know, saying hi to everybody. I know there's a few others in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I do want to mention that I do have a new channel member. So I want to welcome Nancy. I would say it's Cornneck. So not sure if I'm saying that right or not, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I am going to start releasing videos a little bit early. I'm usually releasing I usually put my videos up online about a week ahead of time. So I am going to start releasing them a little bit early for channel members. And I don't want to forget about the other channel members as well, because the other channel members that I have are Hialeah and let's see, here it is. So Hialeah and your pal Misty. So make sure you go over there and check their channels out. Their channel links to their channels are down below. So after the live, if you go down there, you want to click on them. If you're not a channel member, go down there and check out those channels. Now Nancy doesn't have a channel; she's just a viewer. So I did go over there and check hers out. So I want to thank her for that. So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to show you a slide. Let's see how that looks. So this is how I did on the lean. When I was doing the lean days or the protein sparing modifying days, this was my tracking to when I hit my goal, and then I stopped there tracking it at that point in time. But this was so Johanna, this was my tracking chart. So again, you'll see where I started. This blip down here, that's the where it says vacation. We went to Hawaii for a week. I'm not going to say I stayed keto. I kind of did, but we did a lot of drinking and had a lot of fun and did some stuff. And so it was good. And this really, really worked for me. Again, you know, you kind of hit that plateau and you can't quite get to that next step. These lean days, Indigo Nellies would call them lean days, and I believe that Thomas Allowardham called them lean days. Maria Emmerich calls them protein sparing modifying fast days. And again, I do have a calendar about that as well. So if you're interested about it, let me know shoot me an email down below, and I can shoot you the calendar that I used. And I actually based it off of Wendy and Harry's calendar from Loving It on Keto. I got to give them the credit because they were the ones that created it, right? And I kind of embellished it. I asked them first before I did it, and they had told me yes. Kim Helper actually asked me if I would like to use it, and I asked her if I could, and she contacted Wendy and Harry for me and said yes. And, so I did copy it. So that's kind of, I based it off 3 days a week of lean days. It really worked good. So, so Ron's saying he's glad that we like the strawberry cheesecake I made. I'm a big fan of strawberry cheesecake. I'm a big fan of strawberries, period. So, and interesting, the two crazy ketos did a thing about strawberries, and because they went strawberry picking, but I do just want to remind people, I'm going to talk a little bit about my story too, because I know I have a lot of new subscribers now, and I really, really appreciate all you folks new folks that have joined and everything else. So I really, really appreciate it. So Johanna's saying that she stalled for about 3 months, then she did a high protein, and now I'm 197. So what did you go from to? So what, how much did you launch? Hey, Matt, how are you? So, so Johanna, what were you kind of at? So kind of curious. So, and then, so you're saying 197 now, just trying to do, was it 10 pounds or was it 50 pounds? Just kind of curious. So, hey, if you haven't gone over and looked at Matt's page, the Keto World Order. So, pretty cool. He's a big wrestling fan and as well as promoter, I guess, kind of. He does a lot of live streams as well as he does a lot of shorts, and he does some really cool stuff. So, so if you haven't gone over there and checked his page out, go over there and check his page out. It'd be so. Ron, I don't know if have you connected with Matt? He's actually was one of the folks that talked to me about doing shorts, and he's one of the folks that really helped me get my channel growing again, and because it was kind of stalled for a while, and so my hat's off to you. So, all right, so that was good. So you're down about 15 pounds or so, right? Oh, that's good. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Johanna. That's fantastic. That's awesome. So did want to say, just remember the topics of the day and kind of what we've already kind of started. Johanna's jumped in and started this already, talking a little bit about stalls and breaking the stalls and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to have to talk about. I did want to mention that in March, trying to start planning and looking at stuff coming up in March already. Like I say, I think next Saturday, we're going to talk a little bit and do a monthly wrap up, and maybe it'll be a cooking wrap up kind of a thing where we'll cook a little bit, something really simple, and we'll talk about how the month went, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do next month. That's what I'm thinking. If you guys like that, give me a thumbs up, and I know that you're liking that idea. So, and it helps the channel out too, right? So, I'm trying to look at my notes here. So, let's see what else we got going here. I also, the week after that is going to be a couple of folks on the channel. It's actually going to be 4 of us on here. 4 of the folks that have been on this channel, well, 3 of the folks, myself, and 3 folks that have been on here. So, of course, my daughter, which is Keto Mama Michelle. If you didn't know, she was my daughter. Well, she's my daughter. So she's coming on here. I linked her channel down below too. So go down there and check her channel. Make sure if you go down there and you're new to the channel, that you tell her you're coming over from here, so she just knows that that you're coming over from here. So that would really be helpful for me and helpful for her, I'm sure. So, and then let's see. And then Scott from Platts River Keto is coming on. Hopefully he can take a tax break, right? He does taxes. So hopefully he can take a little bit of a break and come on the channel for an hour and chat with us. And then your pal Misty's going to be on here. So that's a significant amount of people. You have Misty's lost over 150 pounds. You got Scott's lost 100 and he was 180. He's back down to 170 pounds. He's lost, but so I'm going to say 180. And then Michelle's down about 95 pounds. So, and I'm the lightweight in the group with only 60 pounds. So they're coming on there. I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully, just kind of catch up with them and kind of see what's going on. Hopefully, talk a little bit about life and what's going on and the struggles of life and how are we doing and how are we getting over them. And then working on a couple of other guests coming up. I know Ron's been on the channel before. So it's kind of cool. So I'm kind of looking forward to having some other folks on the line. I think it's really, really cool when people come on and talk about their journey and their experiences, because everybody's different, and maybe something that I do doesn't resonate with you, but maybe something they do does resonate with you and can help you, get healthy as well and stay healthy. So we're hoping that all works out. All right, Ron's saying he's always available too, so that will probably be something coming up as well. So we'll do some more of them. And Ron on days off has to get blood work done. His potassium went hyper. Heart is racing like crazy, plus headaches. Wow. So you have a potassium issue, huh? That's interesting. I've never heard. Usually everybody's always talking about lack of potassium. Never mind. Is it a lack of potassium or is it too much potassium? That's interesting. So, but I did want to talk about it. That I also want to talk a little bit about the channel, where we're going, and just like I say, reaffirming that we do have that channel membership down below. If you'd like to join and support the channel, that would be great. We also have a merchandise shop. This is one of the shirts on there. I don't know if you can see it or not. All right. So You Are Awesome shirt. I also have the Allen's Awesome logo, and as well as I have some of those other shirts. So, Johanna's saying that she on days off she had to go out for blood work. Oh, too much potassium, huh? I wonder how did they get that down? You have to, huh? So, I don't know. I'd be interested to see how they get that down. It would be interesting. So, like I say, so next Friday, I will probably, I got to pick something to cook. I've actually been thinking maybe the protein sparing modifying pizza, and see how that goes, because it's something that's pretty low carb. It's something I love, pizzas. So, so I'm a big fan of pizza. I don't know about everybody else, but pizza is probably one of my favorite foods. So those are the things coming up, kind of like I say, next week and then the week after. And then I do have some charts and graphs and stuff to go over, how my month went, and we'll talk about how the weight journey. So I did want to refresh people. So like I said, I started saying that I do have a lot of new members out. And just because I have a lot of new members out, I do. So how I started off on this, and I know I've been on Jason's channel, and I know I've been around talking about it. I know I was trying to think who else. Oh, Tom and Mike's channel, on their live stream. So I've been on the last few weeks. I've been talking a lot about it. For me, I started off in 2017. I started long before that, but in 2017 is kind of, I guess, when it came to a head. Went to the doctors, and he told me, you're pre-diabetic. You have been for a while. You've got high blood pressure. I'm thinking that next time you come for your physical in 6 months for your follow-up, that we're going to have to do something about it. And we're going to have to start giving you some medication to take. It's your choice. You can either treat this by going and doing it through diet, or you can start taking medication. So I have a mother that was diabetic. I have relatives that have diabetic. I have a brother that's diabetic, type 2 diabetes. And I had said, I don't want to go through any of that stuff. I want to, I don't want any of those complications, all those problems. My mother-in-law went through it. She actually lost a foot because of it. So when I have a coworker that I work with that lost both of his feet and it forced him into retirement, and that's not the way I want to go into retirement. So there's just a lot of complications with that. And just thinking of that, my wife and I talked about it. So at that point in time, my doctor has kind of said, well, if you want, a couple of things, you can either do some kind of a Mediterranean diet or maybe possibly look into keto and see what you think. And I said, well, I don't think I can do the Mediterranean diet. I don't think I could stick to it. But I'll look into the keto. And here I am 5 years later. And it took me about 6 months. So when I had gone back at the 6 month mark, I had gone from about 240 pounds down to about 190, somewhere in that area. Then I stayed at that level. I'm going to say I stayed there until probably 2021. And that's when he said, hey, can you drop me another 10 pounds and get down to 180? Because I think that would be a really great weight for you. So I did do that. When I did the lean days and I did the protein sparing modifying fast and followed the Marie Emmerich's plan, that's when I dropped down to 180. And then I kind of backed off of it. It was just a tool to get me there. It's not something that's sustainable for me. It's not something I could do long term. But it was a tool to get me there. So that's what I used it for, and it worked for me. So, so Johanna's saying she just can't eat high potassium foods. All right. What is a high potassium food? So I would think that's like a banana, or that's what I always associate a banana with high potassium. Oh, all right. She says it in the next one. Maybe I'll make another broccoli crust pizza. Broccoli crusted pizza. I've never. Maybe you'll make another broccoli crusted pizza. So I don't know. Like I say, I'm thinking about, because if you take the protein sparing modifying bread and you can make the crust out of the bread, I thought about making one of those, and I actually saw someone make it a little while ago. They used the cloud bread recipe. It's pretty much the same thing. It's not that much different. Well, yeah, that would be easy, something easy and fun to do. And it'd be something like, again, we have this, and generally right after this, we usually eat dinner. We're actually going to go out tonight. So we're going to actually walk to an area restaurant that's about 3/4 of a mile away. So it will give us some really good exercise to walk there. And then after we eat, it will give us a good walk back, and it'll get our steps in, and we'll walk about 1.5 miles or 2 miles by the time we get home, which will be really, really nice. And then, and we'll take it easy at the restaurant. Can't wait to see what their prime rib is like. So, but that's what's kind of going on with the channel. What's all those things are. Talk a little bit about some of the things. I would talk about breaking a stall. And one of the first things, and again, there's 5 things that I would really think about, and maybe I'll even throw in a 6th one at the very end here. We can talk a little bit about. That's interesting. So avocados, broccoli, peppers. So I'm fully carnivore now. So I would guess so. Those are probably most of the vegetables I eat. The broccoli, the avocados, peppers. I'll eat green beans too occasionally. Some bok choy, because my wife's Asian, so we eat bok choy. We eat the long beans as well. So, but yeah, those are like most of my staples, and are those 3 things. So that would make me go carnivore too. Although I don't know. I think I could do it. I don't know. I say I could do it, but probably when I was doing it, I'd probably say, I don't know about it. But yeah, forced by. And this is just another picture from me. We were in Vegas. I'm gonna say maybe 6 years ago. So that was us about 6 years ago in Vegas. We don't live that far from Vegas, but yeah. So that was kind of my little spiel about that. But let's talk a little bit about why we're here, and let's talk a little bit about stalls and stuff like that. So one of the first things I would do is learn how to read labels, right? So identify what has what in it, and make sure you check the labels, because they change ingredients quite often in products. So a product that you may have been using right along that's keto, you may have find out they added sugar to it, or they substituted something else that's necessarily not great for your body. So thank you. She will appreciate that, and I appreciate that too. She is very very nice. She's a very great person too. She's very humble and very sweet, and another story, how we met and how that all came to be. But that was many moons ago. We've been over 10 years now together. So, but it's been good. But those are, so learn to read labels, look at the labels, look for those things. There's tons of hidden ingredients. Again, depending on how clean you want to be and how healthy you want to be, kind of watch what's in them. Even some of the meats and stuff now, they're putting sugar in them, or they're putting salt on them. That's not very good, and or putting other spices on them that are probably something you may want to be careful about, just depending on how you're eating and what you're eating. So learn to read labels, right? So, I do that, and again, just to make sure that you understand. I used to use, there was a brand of tuna that we used to get in one of the Asian stores. It used to be, we'd go in there and they'd be on sale, and we would get them all the time. They had a hot, spicy tuna, which is really, really good. But for some reason, they changed the formula and they started putting sugar in with the tuna. And I'm sure it's just in the water. So I'm sure when the time you washed it out and stuff, it was very little that you actually got out of it. But for me, I kind of had decided to take it out and say, I'm just going to use regular tuna. And so Rick from Twin Acres is here. Hey, Rick, how are you? How's everything going? Hopefully you're having an awesome day. So the first thing for me was to, learn to read labels and check them, because you may find out, especially like condiments and stuff that you're using, you may find out that you're way over your macros just because you're using things like ketchup or relish or something that may have some kind of spice or something that doesn't agree with you or is kicking you out of ketosis or something like that. So just something you want to be careful of. Just learn to read labels. Look, go on, do some research on what you should look for. And if you know your body, you know what trigger you are and what triggers your body and what triggers inflammation and stuff like that. You can learn what to look for on a label. Also, look at serving sizes when you're on a label, because they can change macros to fit any serving size. They can make it so it's a teaspoon, and there's nobody in the world that will eat a teaspoon. You'll eat a whole cup of it, so take a look at the macros, make sure that you're kind of looking at them, kind of look at that serving size, and then make some judgments for yourself. So, and then also the second part of that talking about expanding that is the hidden sugars that are in everything. So they've got a lot of stuff. They tell you to use the Equal. They told you to use the Splenda on all those things. And all those things have sugar in them. They have maltodextrose in them, dextrose in them, which is just a form of sugar. So a Splenda actually has one carb in it. An Equal is one carb. So if you're using those things and you're not counting them, and you're putting 4 Splendas or 4 Equals in your coffee or something else, those carbs can really build up fast. So really watch it. So Ron's going, and I find things that are not what they seem to be. Sure, I know I do. Just because they're marked keto, they're really not. So like Alan said, learn to read labels. Thank you. So it's really, really good. So and Johanna's saying the same thing. Hey, Tuber Chat's in the house. Hey, Tuber Chat. Hey, you have a small channel and you're looking to grow, even if you have a good big channel and you want to grow, go over there and check out his channel. He helps a lot of people, and so go over there and check him out. I don't know, Ron, have you been over there, or Rick's been over there or anything else, but go over there and check out his channel and say hi. You're there from Alan's Awesome Keto World. So, but yeah, so this, I could say sugar has something like, there's like 52 or 55 names that they different names out there. I do have a list of them somewhere. They're actually on, I have a web page, and they're actually on that web page. So, you know, the maltodextrose and the dextrose and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times it will say sugar free, but it really isn't. And people think, well, it's sugar free, so therefore the carbs are really low. Be really, really careful about that stuff, because they're really, really not. So, you know, saying hi. So Ron's just saying he just started following him. So I guess a lot of other friends that are following him. So, but anyway, so it's yeah, it's kind of a really good thing to learn. Like I said, what all those hidden sugars are. You know, they talk about rice sugar, they talk about coconut sugar, and they talk about all these different things, and you kind of get really you really get how do you say, you really get fooled by the companies. That's kind of what their intent is, to kind of lull you into thinking that you're getting something healthy when you're not. So Johanna just subs to you. Super Chat saying cheers. Hey, thanks. So Ron's saying he's up over 500 now, which is fantastic. Super Chat saying thank you. And then he's saying thank you to me. So, but yeah, so kind of, so that would be my number 4 would just be kind of learn what those hidden sugars are. And then as you're learning to read the labels, look for those hidden sugars, because those hidden sugars are the things that are really going to easily mess you up. And you're going to think you're doing the right thing, and you're going to find out really quickly that you're not, right? Then I guess everybody kind of is talking about, I've heard several people talking about it this month coming up. I would say my number 3 thing that if you're really looking to lose weight and you want to start looking what you're eating, is start to think about the dairy that you're consuming. And I'm a big person that does this. I love cheese, and we eat cheese all the time. So that cheese is consumed really regularly. So some of it is watching all of that dairy. And I know some people think, well, it's heavy cream. Yeah. So, you know. So he's saying, watch out for those ingredients that end with the rose. That's right. And he gave a couple of examples of them. Thanks, Rick. So those are good ones, right? So saccharose, dextrose. So those are all those hidden sugars out there. There's, like I say, there's like 55 or 60 names out there that they're using, and they're inventing new ones all the time, just to kind of fool you, to lull you into that sense of, well, it doesn't have sugar on it, so therefore it has to be good, right? Now, if it does have, and it says less than 2%, and then it has like 4 more ingredients, and like bacon does that, and way at the bottom it says sugar, it really doesn't bother me that much, because of the fact that I know it's very minimal. But so let's see. We're all here helping one another. No questions dumb. That's true. That's very true. Right. The only dumb question is the one that doesn't get asked. So if you have a question and you haven't asked it, think about it. So, but dairy is I eat, like I said, I eat a lot of cheese. I have cut out. I don't put, if you watch any of my day of eatings, I don't put any heavy cream in my coffee anymore. I used to. I mean, you put a tablespoon into your cup of coffee, then you have a second or a third cup. You put in 3 or 4 tablespoons, and there's 4 carbs. They say in a quarter cup. There's, I think, 4 carbs in a quarter cup of heavy cream. I know people will say they look at it because you look at a serving size, and a serving size is a tablespoon or something like that, and it says 0 carbs. And that's just because they round down, because the government allows them to do that. And instead of saying 0.6 carbs in it, they just say 0. But there really is carbs in it. So Yeah. So Ron's saying holidays are tough. We have Easter coming up very fast. Yeah, 2 weeks away. I have Good Friday. Yay! So I'm looking forward to a day off. Not sure what I'm going to do that day, but I'm looking forward to it. But think about it. And then, like I said, cheese. We do a lot of cheese. We like pizza. We make those chicken crusted pizza. We make pizza like 6 different ways. So we eat a fair amount of cheese on top of the pizza. You know, I have burgers and I make them cheeseburgers. I don't generally eat them as hamburgers. I generally put cheese on them. Again, so those are all things that you can eat. I know for me, this coming week, I'm not going to eat any yogurt. I'm going to try to sustain from the yogurt. And generally, I've been eating yogurt every day just because I want to turn around and cycle down a little bit and lose some weight. I'm trying to get to that 175 mark because I really would like to get lean and mean for the summertime. You know, I'm an old guy, but you know, I'd like to hit that 175 par mark for my 65th birthday. So I think that would be pretty cool. And again, you know, but look at those things, you know, how do you cut them down? Maybe you don't want to cut them out. I don't know whether I could cut them totally out. I like my cheese too much, but I could probably cut them down. And that's what I'm going to do. So instead of eating a yogurt every day, I'm going to maybe eat one once every couple of days or once or twice a week instead of every day. So Ron's going, let's see. True Ron, never be afraid to ask. Let's see. Birthday's Monday. Oh, so happy birthday. Wow. I would sing you happy birthday, but I don't want you to click off the channel. I don't have a nice voice, so I'm not going to sing happy birthday. But happy birthday. Yay. Everybody wish her a happy birthday. Make sure you go over and check her out and say something on her channel, or she's in a lot of other lives. So make sure if you see her on a live on Monday, make sure you just say happy birthday to her. So, let's see where we're at. Happy birthday. I'm losing 6 carbs a day with cream I'm using. So again, I would be very careful because it will say that it's 0 carbs, but it's not. So there is no such thing as a 0 carb cream. So I guess I would ask is how are you losing 6 carbs with the cream that you're using? So, because heavy cream has carbs in it. It just says 0 on the package, but it really does have. So you take a 1/4 cup of heavy cream and it has almost 4 carbs in it. So just be careful about those carbs with the creams and stuff like that. Yeah, I use coconut. Again, I use coconut cream in my coffee. I have for a year now or so or more. It doesn't mix as smooth or as easy as heavy cream. You really gotta, I take that frother and I really do it good with that frother, and that frother works great. So I'm working on it. Double bubble, buck in a minute. So yeah. So when you're doing keto and doing 20 net carbs, 6 carbs is a 1/4 of your carb count. So yeah. So yeah, I do total carbs, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. But yeah. So all right. So you're doing net carbs, and then you're tracking net carbs around. So all right. Again, everybody's going to be different, and you know if you're not in a stall and it's working for you, great. You do what you want to do. You do you, boo, right? I think that's what Jess would say from Keto Rewind, right? Yeah. So Johanna, are you you're going to make yourself a keto cake, or someone going to make you a keto cake? I'd make one and ship it to you, but you're in Canada. I don't think I can ship food over there. And if I shipped it and it got to you in about 6 or 7 weeks, it probably wouldn't be any good. Yeah. It adds up to 6 carbs according to Carb Manager. Okay. So it adds up to 6 carbs. It's not, you're cutting 6 carbs out. Yeah, because I know when I put in my, when I make my coffee in the morning, Carb Manager tells me it's 0 carbs, but, and it maybe is. It's just instant coffee. I use some MTC oil. I use some ghee, and I'm using the coconut cream, a little bit of coconut cream. I'm trying to think if there's something else to put in. They're putting in daily minerals from Keto Chow. So I'm trying to think what else I put in. I guess that's enough. But that's all I drink in the morning because, man, I'll tell you, it's like it's pretty filling with all that fat in it. I'm just trying to up my fat a little bit right now. I may be going the other direction here shortly. So, but I think about 3 cups of coffee in the morning. I drink my first cup of coffee with everything in it, and then the second, third cups I just have black. So that's the only cup I have in the morning. More or less, it's just a vehicle for me to get my fat. Otherwise, I'd be drinking it black. Nope, it's a meat cake for me. Oh, that's nice. big hamburger with a candle in the middle of it or something, or a big ribeye steak with a candle in the middle of it. That would work for me. Then so I'm going to talk about my third point. I want to just kind of talk about real quick, or I should say number 2 on my list is, if you're in a stall, I would just kind of start writing everything down, whether you want to put it into Carb Manager or Fitness Pal, or whether you just want to write it on a piece of paper. You do what you want to do, or how you want to track it. The whole premise of it is just do it for a couple of weeks to find out if there are any hidden carbs in there that are creeping into your diet. And it happens to me pretty regularly where, and I track most of the time, but I will stop. I'll get lazy, and then I'll stop, especially around like the holidays and stuff. And I'll have that carb creep where all of a sudden I'll gain a half a pound this week, and next week I'll gain another half a pound, and the following week I'll gain 2 pounds. And then when I sit down and I actually start putting everything back into Carb Manager, or I sit there and I go, oh man, look at this. Oh, what am I doing? I'm eating this. And all of a sudden, all those things start popping out at you, and you can kind of say, oh, I got to cut out the snacks. I'm eating too many keto snacks, and I need to cut them back a little bit, make them once a week, not every day. And so Rick's saying that he has a couple of black coffees sometimes in the morning. The only treat I have now. Well, I don't know about that. I do have some treats every now and then. So, the Keto Chow ice cream, and I'll make brownies every once in a great while, or a mug cake or something like that every once in a while. And that's one of those things that, like I said, if you're tracking, you start seeing that stuff starting to fall in, especially because everything is in net carbs on all the packaging. And so a lot of things will say it's 3 carbs, but they won't tell you it's 3 net carbs. It's actually 15 total carbs until you start looking at the package and you start reading the label, and you say, oh, shoot, this is not necessarily what I want. I will eat some of those things like the Nola bars and stuff like that. I do buy them and I keep them on hand, because if it's in a pinch and I'm running out the door and I'm hungry, I'll grab one and I'll take it with me. And I'll eat it, but it's better than eating the alternative, but it's not something I would do on a regular basis. So we'll buy a few boxes, like when they have their Black Friday 50% off, we'll buy a few boxes, and that will last us for months because we don't eat them that often. My wife likes them and I like them too. So Johanna's saying that she puts those butter bites, salt in her coffee. So yeah, I thought about using, I actually, for a while, I used some salted ghee that was actually pretty nice to do that. And that salt actually was really, really, really good. So I bet you those butter bites are really good. I have not made them yet. And I know that I've seen a bunch of people making them. So I'd like to make them. But But yeah, it's really really looks good. Especially, I don't know how you're gonna brown like that, but I need to get a little molds or something like that there so that I can make them. Because what I have today are bigger molds. I do have some, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have some because I have some fat bomb molds, and I guess I could use that one. I haven't used it in a long time to make some. Maybe I'll try to make some because those actually would be a great way to help get some fat in on days that I have a really low fat day or something like that. So. So she's saying you won't see ribeye in camp. Hamburgers. So we're actually next time we go to the store, we're actually going to run to the store later. And well, the restaurant's right by the store, so we're actually going to walk by there and just grab a couple things on the way back. But they actually have a great sale on hamburger. They have some 80/20 regular ground beef, and it's $1.83 a pound, and you can get up to 10 pounds. So you know how much we're going to get? We're going to get 10 pounds. So, yeah, that's to me that was a great meat deal. So we're gonna put that, and then we're gonna divide it into 1 pound chunks or 2 pound chunks, and then put them in the freezer and pull them out as we need them. But it's nice to see some really good deals. So. I don't know. I guess I kind of look like when I have a ribeye steak. That's a kind of a nice treat. I actually like hamburger too, but I don't know whether I could eat it all the time every day. And Rick's saying he's never heard of butter bites. So I'm trying to think. I know the Two Crazy Ketos have done them, and that over a Ketogenic Woman's done them. I know Indigo Nelly's done them. I'm trying to think who else has done them. I think Wendy over Loving It on Keto's done them. Boy, there's a lot of them that have done those butter bites. So, so if you're doing carnivore, watch most of the carnivore channels. A lot of them have done those butter bites because they are acceptable in carnivore. So, and it's a nice treat, right? You actually make them. What they do, Rick, is they take butter, they melt it down, and they cook it to the point in a pan just before it starts to burn. And again, I've only seen them do it. I have not done it. So Johanna, maybe if you make them, then maybe you know. You just melt the butter when it's starting to bubble up. Let it. Then as it starts to foam, that's where you see it starts to brown. Then you take it off, and then you pour it into the silicone molds, and then you freeze it for a couple of hours. So it's not something you buy, Rick. It's something you make. You'd have to make that in your house. Get a little silicone mold. They make the little tiny, like candies or something like that. You can go to Michael's or trying to think, Joann's Fabric or somewhere like that. That would have them. You can buy them. You can buy them on Amazon and stuff like that. Again, it's kind of like a fat bomb, but it's out of butter, and it's just butter. And generally, they just put butter and salt, as far as I've seen in it. And the issue is getting it so it browns and it doesn't burn, but yet it's not clear like regular butter. So there's I guess you got to learn that color that you're looking for, and so. I guess that's a big thing. So, but anyway, so watch for those hidden carbs. Watch for those things like that. Salad dressings, condiments, drinks, all those kind of things like that there. Really, look for those hidden carbs, because those hidden carbs, and that's why I kind of start to track again, because they're really easy to creep in. Diet sodas and different things that can cause those stalls, and include them. They taste like English toffee. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Now I want to make them. So I got to make some keto chow ice cream tonight. That's one of the things I'm going to make later. So, and then the last thing I would talk about, and this pertains to, if you're doing carnivore, Johanna, you're probably not so much to you because you're doing a 0 carb diet, but if you're doing net carbs and you're stalled and it's not working for you, switch over to total carbs. It will help you restrict a lot of that foods that you are beating and you probably shouldn't be, or that you're eating too much of. And I know a good example of that would be the keto ice cream bars. They're like 9 carbs, I think, per bar, total carbs, but they're only 1 net carb. So you technically could eat 20 of those in a day and still stay under your 20 total carbs. Whereas if you were doing total carbs, 20 of those things would give you 180 carbs. So there's just no way in the world that that's good for you and or that works for you. So think about it, and or if you're doing net carbs, and I know Joe over Too Crazy Keto talks about it all the time, and I kind of agree with him that if you're doing net carbs, have a cap on them and say, I'm not going to do more than 40 total carbs or 30 total carbs, and even if I'm tracking net carbs. So kind of look at those things. Like I say, total carbs was a huge thing for me. I started off doing net carbs and it worked for me at the beginning. I got to a point where they were not working for me anymore. So I had to switch over. I think a lot of it was because as time goes along, you learn about all those keto treats that they have out there, right? And you start eating them and consuming them. So by going to total carbs, it kind of makes you hesitate and eat them and make them every once in a great while thing versus an everyday thing or all the time, or eating 5 of them at once, or something like that, instead of just 1 of them every once in a while. So and then I guess the last one that I would just mention about is that if you do all that stuff and you're still at a stall and it's still not working for you, you may want to think about implementing something like either go to a more of a carnivore type of diet for a period of time. And I know a lot of people go and do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Or think about doing protein sparing modifying fasting. Again, protein sparing modifying fasting worked for me. The proof is in the numbers. My numbers were great. I lost weight like every week. I consistently went down. There was no back and forth. It was every week I was going down. So it was pretty consistent for me. So thinking about doing it again, thinking about maybe doing it maybe in April. Maybe I'll wait until May. I don't know. I'm going to kind of, like I say, next week, when I do my live next week, when we talk about it, I should talk about the weight, how I've kind of did for this month, for the month of March, and then what I think I need to change going into April. I'm not going to change a lot of stuff. I don't believe in changing things too radically right off the bat. I don't want to do contest after contest or change and kind of go back and forth and do all kinds of crazy stuff. To me, I want to do something a little more controlled for me. So Johanna's she's kind of had said that earlier, no carbs and veggies for her because they just don't agree with me. So that's why she's doing carnivore. That's what works for her. You need to find out what's working for you. Again, what's your goal? Is it to get healthy? Is it to lose weight? Do have a number of meal plans and stuff like that for 20 total carbs a day, protein sparing modifying fast, have calendars out there to follow. So if any of that stuff is something you're interested in, let me know. Again, I can only tell you this was stuff that I used that worked for me. I'm no doctor, no medical professional, and I'm not going to give you any advice that it will work for you. I'm just going to tell you what works for me, right? And those things work for me. So there is an email down below, so you can email me if you'd like to chat about it or like any of that kind of stuff. Again, the protein sparing modifying, it took me a little while to really figure it out because it's very different than keto. It really goes against that grain about, having high fats, and, it really kind of, So, and generally, for me anyway, and Johanna's right. So it's both. It's weight and health, right? So That's the ultimate goal. Hopefully that's what everybody's doing this for, is for that. At least I'm hoping it is. But yeah, we'll see. You know, for me, you got to kind of start losing the weight. And then when you're starting to lose the weight, you start to get, I think you start to dig into more information, and you find out, you know, things that are healthier for you, the things you want to stay away from. Even though they're maybe keto friendly, you may want to stay away from them. I said it was really interesting because I watched that with Dr. Eric Westman and Dr. Ken Berry. And there was the question about the omega-6s to the omega-3s. And Dr. Westman had kind of said that, you know, he doesn't quite understand where everybody's coming from with all this omega-3, omega-6 stuff, because there is no scientific research that says that one is better for you than the other, or it has any kind of health benefit one way or another. And he even talked a little bit about, and I know that him and Dr. Berry agreed with him, there is really no information. It's more of a personal choice. Like the seed oils, there's no evidence that the seed oils are bad for you in any way, shape, and form. But, you know, we all say you should be using seed oil just because they're heavily processed. But there's no evidence anywhere showing that they're bad for you. So are we just taking somebody's word for it and kind of going that route? I kind of believe that I would kind of believe that it's heavily processed and it's not bad for you, and I'm going to go down that road. I don't use seed oils. I'm not going to. But it was just an interesting conversation that sometimes we get told things and believe things that we hear, but they're not necessarily true. Right? So it's just kind of a, I always say, you know, I don't care who the guy is, the most educated person in the world, and he tells you something, make sure you go out and do your own research before you decide he's right or wrong. So, right. Just downloaded Marie Emmerich's book. That's what I follow. So, yeah, so she does, I think she does a great job. And I think she's kind of getting a lot of push into the carnivore realm, and she's kind of more in the lean, kind of doing keto on a lean or a carnivore diet on a leaner part, because she's so low carb, and most of the meat she eats is very lean, versus, you know, we're more on a carnivore, they're telling you to eat more of the fatty meats, and she's telling you to eat the chicken breast and some of the leaner cuts of steak and that kind of stuff. So you know, egg whites, but so it's just kind of a little bit different thought, and you know, both of them work. So you have to figure out which one's for you. So again, I did this. I started losing the weight because I was losing the weight. It allowed me to start to being able to walk more. It started me so I could exercise more, and it got me going a little more. Although my exercising has not gone real well in the last few weeks, so it's something I have to kind of get back to. And again, I plan on talking about that next week. I'm going into that a little bit. So hopefully you guys stick around for it next week. So, but that's kind of where we're at. So, so that was just kind of the information I wanted to kind of throw out there this week and have that conversation around. I don't know. It was just kind of a good topic, I thought. You know, I had done a video on it years ago too. So if you'd like to go back and check out that video, I'm not sure where it is in the playlist or anything else, but so next week will just be a kind of a regular update where we're at. Like I say, I do want to just mention that I do have a lot of new followers, so I want to really thank everybody for subscribing to the channel and you know, and becoming part of this community that supports and shows me love, and hopefully I do the same to you. Yeah. Yeah. So at work, I walked out, but I love it. So yeah. So again, you know, for me, like I say, if you see any videos, like every day, with the exception of it's raining out, you know, I go for a walk at work. I have a nice walk area. It's pretty quiet back that area. Have to watch out for the farmers and stuff coming out of the fields when they're pulling their crops out. And you gotta love the biofreeze. So I don't have to worry about biofreeze or but yeah, I do have a gym in my garage, and I can't say I use it enough. I have a treadmill down there. I have some light weights. I got pulleys and a few things just to exercise mats. Oh, excuse me. So it does help on those days when it's raining out and or when I can't get to do what I want to normally do. It really helps. We do have, and I'm actually in our spare bedroom right now. So we're talking about changing some things around, and maybe this becomes more of a office / workout room. I don't know in the future, but the garage works really well right now. I just need to force myself to get out there and do it, and a lot of it is just forcing yourself to do it. I feel so amazing after I've done my workouts, but my problem is I'm lazy and I don't want to get out there and do them in the first place. So I have arthritis. Yeah, I have arthritis in my knee. So I've actually had my knee. I've had my knee, the meniscus on my knee, repaired twice. And I'll tell you, as I get older, the first one was when I was younger, and then the second one was, I'm going to say, in my 50s. And that one took, instead of taking 2 weeks to heal and being out and about, and that one took more like 4 to 6 weeks. It took a lot longer. And then now I'm in my 60s. I don't want to have to do that again. So I do take it easy. I go slow and steady. Wins the race, not fast and hard. Not at my age. When you get hurt, it takes too long to recover, and not the best. So, all right. So we are at our hour mark. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. So again, next week, don't forget we have that on April 8th with Scott and Misty and Michelle, which I think will be a great combination. We'll have to figure out how much weight loss they lost between the three of them, and then I'll include the 60 pounds that I'm down. And then we'll see. It should be a significant amount of weight. I mean, they have 400 or 500 pounds. So, but yeah. All right, you guys are awesome. I want to thank Nancy for becoming a channel member. So Nancy, thank you. I really, truly appreciate it. You are awesome. You guys are all awesome. Hey, if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you like the stuff, share it out. That's the best thing you can do for any YouTuber is like it and share it. So, right. So I have the problem. I feel great when I work out, but it's getting there. That's my problem. It really, truly is. It's that motivation to get in the gym. Once you're in the gym, everything is cool and you feel so fantastic afterwards. It's just getting in there. I'm hoping once someday when I retire, hopefully I'll get up in the morning and I'll go right into the gym and I'll work out first thing in the morning and I can knock it out and that will start my day. So, but that's a ways away. All right. You guys are awesome. I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm going to go eat some dinner. We're actually going to go get changed and get dressed. And then we're going to head over to the restaurant and take a nice walk over there. It'll take us about 20 minutes to walk there or so, I would think. Have a nice dinner and have a nice walk back to help us digest some of the food. So you guys get out there, get motivated, get moving, stay healthy, eat right. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate you coming here and being here on a Saturday. So, all right, you guys are awesome. I will talk to you next Saturday.